Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. This is the final of the 2019 end of year tournament. A best of 7 final between Fremy Speed Draw, this is PetricPwnz, and Blackheart on the other side. The first map selected is Arcane, map made by Mountain or Montana, whose cast you can find on YouTube. And both players have chosen Cybran for this particular map. There's no restrictions on faction selection or anything like that. So we will likely see many mirror matchups. Now, Blackheart defeated Nexus in the semi-final, and I believe it was Tagada he beat in the quarter-final. Petric defeated me in the semi-final, and I cannot recall who he beat in the quarterfinals just now, but the all those games are casted fully on the channel, and you can find them in the 2019 playlist, the LotS finals playlist. So let's get to this game. Looks like Blackheart grabbing some tree reclaim to boost his build order, reduce the number of PGens he's going to need at the start, and he's going second land. Petric is going second land also. He's made 4 power generators and the hydro before his second land factory, so then he's going to make multiple factories afterwards. So sort of building a lot of power early, and then he's going to just build 3 factories in quick succession. So Blackheart doing something a little different. He has less power. He is also going third air though. And it looks like Blackheart is expanding more quickly and has less assistance with his commanders. You can see already we had quickly, very quickly, 2 engineers assisting Petric's commander. You can see as a result though, Petric is only has 1 engineer in the expansion here, and he's a bit slower to this expansion also. You know, Blackheart has very quick expansion and also faster than Petric here. Some reclaim left to grab. What is the ACU doing at the moment? Looks like he went for a bit of a walk that was a bit unnecessary. Nice line of PGens here from Blackheart. See, he tends to build them in a diagonal so that they're less, they do less damage to each other when they explode, should they explode. Inti and a scout out, no bomber from either player just yet. Have first Mantis has been sent across to raid for Blackheart, but that's quickly spotted by a land scout and a Mantis from Petric, and now we have a Mantis 1v1. It looks like Blackheart's winning. He is. Survives with 6 HP. That is exactly the damage that 1 shot from a Mantis does. So, and there you can see retreats the weak Mantis and sends in 2 full health Mantis, and now looks to be getting a 2v1 versus this Mantis. So, oh, nice micro from Blackheart. Takes damage on this one. The full HP one finishes the job. He loses no Mantis, and Petric loses 2. So that's not a bad start for Blackheart. He's expanding to the expansion just above his base with his ACU, as is Petric. On the other side, looks like Petric has had a better build order though. We can see he has more reclaim, more total mass, more power income. Blackheart will have to catch up slightly. A single engineer started this queue, 2 more have now been added with some assistance, and Petric looks to be getting a raid off here. Dead engineer, the Mex is allowed to live. As Petric would rather try and run past through this little choke point, and if well, best case scenario, he gets into this back corner and does some damage there. It's quite a nice raid to get if you can manage it, but quite difficult to pull off. But with no radar, actually, it looks like Blackheart doesn't know this is happening, and so may lose multiple mechs in the back here. 3 Mantis can take a mechs quite quickly. Blackheart trying his own raids, but he's getting caught by Petric. We also saw a few Mantis walk into the ACU here for Blackheart. Now this raid has been spotted. Petric has slightly forgotten about the Mantis. There they go on the move again. Blackheart with a transport actually slightly slower than Petric. And in the corners, some often forgotten about mexes are there. 3 in each corner, and once you get them there, quite easy to hold on to. Looks like both of them will be grabbing them at the same time. If Blackheart's transport actually makes it to the destination, I think it will. Oh, it may not actually. No. It's not going to, and he's going to lose the transport. Can Blackheart fight back and kill the air from Petric? Petric is just running as fast, flying as fast as he can away from Blackheart's inties. 2 mexes go down in the back corner, but a couple hundred masses left, so if that's quickly grabbed, the loss of the mexes won't be too bad. On this side we have a sneaky run by of these Mantis. Gets caught by Petric again, but not before they take out a mex. Again, reclaim deposited. Here in this portion we have important patches of reclaim which the ACUs quickly move to grab. Medusa also sent forward to attack this position. You can always expect, or you should usually expect, PDs defending this expansion. Petric knows this and has Medusa ready quickly. Oh, that's a lot of engineers that just got killed, which might make it hard to replace these PDs should they go down. One goes down, will have to be replaced, the other one still stands. And Blackheart has chased the air all the way back to Petric's base and perhaps forgot about those inties, and now he's being chased by Petric. Looks like he's going to lose a couple of them. Another 2 have gone off map and they're coming back in, and those are going to be lost, there's no doubt. The ACU from Blackheart hasn't stopped to build a factory here. He's just been walking forward, trying to cut off reinforcements to the expansion perhaps, or find a nice group of Mantis to kill. He has this pawn to retreat into, so he's in it. It's an excellent position for the ACU to be. But Petric finds a way past him, and then perhaps gets deterred by a smaller group of Mantis. Doesn't want to commit and try and raid this. If it's unsuccessful, he will deposit a lot of mass for Blackheart to capture. Now Blackheart changes his position of his units. He had been sending them left and now takes them up through the middle, and looks like he's going to kill this army pretty effectively. He's going to rejoin with units in this expansion, and perhaps he'll bring these units forward with the ACU or send several towards this expansion. This can be very vulnerable once it's cut off from reinforcements. You can see there's only 1 PD, not many tanks defending, so both players putting pressure in the similar areas. Petric, well, we can see why he's not doing much of this ACU. He's busy getting the gun upgrade while Blackheart is fighting. Petric has moved to T2 land already, has a lot of assistance on this factory. He also has a T2 mechs upgraded and another one on the way, so a lot of longer term investments there from Petric. Meanwhile, Blackheart well, he's adding more T1 land factories. He has no T2 mechs, no T2 land, more T1 land factories coming, so these are not long-term investments. He's sticking with the spam. And so it's time to do damage, I think. Still defending on the left side. Petric now has grabbed the bottom left corner as well as the top right. Blackheart drops 6 engineers and is going to build a factory, and this factory is just going to build some artillery, I think. And the artillery, a few artillery, once they're built, will be sent in and will quickly kill everything here. There's no factory, but there is a PD and anti-air and a radar, so if Petric is paying attention, he will see that there is some nonsense dropped on his plateau. That's a dead rocket bot. Didn't manage to do much there. Blackheart fires an overcharge into the wall, but he's taking a lot of damage from that PD now. And there is a second one there, so a lot of Mantis could die if he just moves in like this. ACU now below 7,000 HP. The first PD goes down. The second PD is surrounded by so many Mantis that it dies quite quickly. Blackheart drops to 6k HP. You can see already a lot of veterancy. 1,800 mass killed on his ACU. More than 1,000 more than Petric. That's the price he's paid for standing still to get that gun upgrade. Petric looks to have won air, and he's also getting some raids off in the expansion that the ACU has left behind. But Blackheart has successfully killed this expansion, throws down a factory quite quickly. Maybe he could have built a factory on top of this this wreck here to get one a bit faster. But gets this one done and has a lot of reclaim available and some mexes. And he has successfully taken back this expansion. He's making a lot of artillery here, probably overbuilding here. He's gonna have to find a way to use those or kill them and reclaim them. Blackheart now going to lose his bottom left expansion, the mirror of what he's taken from Petric on the top right. But Petric clearly taking longer to do it, and also seems to be have invested more in terms of getting that gun upgrade. And now he's got to feel slightly worried by the number of units coming towards him, and actually he seems to be heading towards the water and away from the expansion. Now it will take a lot of units surrounding this AC to kill it, especially now seen as it has some support with it, and T2 Rhinos coming in. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's anywhere near enough units to really trouble him just yet. He should be completely fine so far. Needs to protect the Rhinos, keep them at arm's length of the Mantis, but they seem to be getting surrounded. One Rhino goes down. The second one probably will also go down. Oh, nice overcharge there. Second Rhino with 21 kills. Ouch. Don't want to lose those, but at least he did a lot of damage before it went down. And now he's really out of units. The last Rhino with him is dying, and now it does look... well, there's still certainly not enough Mantis, but Petric is taking back this expansion. Well, not taking it back, but killed what Blackheart had built there. Well, I said unless he uses the Medusas, he's overbuilding them, but he is dropping them, and I expect that drop to be going to, yes, the back corner. A brilliant place to drop. Has a perfect location, like a landing pad really, at the back there. Petric's still retreating away from these units. He's getting a massive number of kills, 92 kills, almost 4,000 mass killed. So now with that gun upgrade, you can see he's far exceeded what Blackheart has killed, having double the damage and a lot more range to boot. Blackheart also has retreated to his expansion. He didn't manage to get much of the reclaim here, but certainly denied the expansion for a long time and held on to his, basically. Petric never actually killed this. The Medusa land in the back of the base and kill 4 T1 mexes. And Medusa being cheaper than artillery, being cheaper than tanks, they're not going to leave too much reclaim either. The transport did not manage to evacuate, so more transports will have to be sent to the top to airlift all those Medusa to fun locations. Map control, well, it seems back to more or less even, except for this this drop here. Actually, we had a nice raid into this expansion as well. Once again, reclaim is being left, but there's so many units now. Now, if we look at the Petric's unit count, he only has 9 rhinos and 35 mantis. Blackheart with a still huge number of mantis. 107 mantis. I mean, we won't count all these Medusa up here, but he does have 15 Medusa with his 110 mantis. Another rhino goes down, and these rhinos being sent in are... can't hope to do too much, really. It feels like they will inevitably get surrounded and killed, and this expansion is dead for Petric. He seems quite scared with his ACU. Does not want to get surrounded by 30 mantis, and he may not get out of that. He's switched, having air control for basically the whole game. He's now switched to making jesters. There's no anti-air in the mix yet from Blackheart, although we can see the mix has begun. There's some mobile anti-air in the base, and there we see the rhino getting surrounded. This rhino does make it to the back corner. These PDs not in the best place, not really defending anything. The rhino will kill perhaps all the mexes here. Oh no, he switched to units, unfortunately, so the 2 mexes will survive, but the rhinos will leave quite nice chunks of reclaim. So many jesters now, but static T1 anti-air turrets have gone up, and the jesters are going to fall out of the sky very quickly if they continue to hover over those defenses. 3 jesters go down now. The 4th one may just be saved. Yes, just about. For now. Oh! Air gets completely mauled, lands in the middle of an army of mantis and Medusa, and also was flying over the anti-air turrets, and also had run out of fuel anyway, so all the air is gone. Multiple support factories for Petric. Also, he has 6 T2 mass extractors. Blackheart has a single T2 mechs, 1 more upgrading, and no Tech 2 land whatsoever. Also no upgrade on his ACU, so it seems like everything is really in Petric's favor. He hasn't lost much map control. He has been raided and stuff, but really all Blackheart has is T1 land. And surely if the T2 land and the gun ACU are used correctly, this T1 land can't really achieve too much, although there is a lot of it. Oh god, another rhino gets wasted. And actually Blackheart is going to lose air again. I don't know why his air was there, but it gets punished quickly. Oh, the drops from Blackheart dropping into this expansion. I don't know if he'll manage to kill anything before he loses those Medusa, but this is far worse for Petric. Multiple T2 mechs is going to die for sure. And we're also having another drop, a repeat drop to the this back landing pad. And that's going to be a big hit on the mexes, on the mass production. Still a lot of pressure being put on here. Another dead T2 unit alone and afraid that's surrounded. Ouch. So that's 4 dead T1 mexes here, 2 dead here, and 2 dead T2 mexes as well. Now let's see about the... Yeah, now we have a mass stall and a big one, a very big one, and that means that the production in these factories is going to slow way down. Look at how long it's taking to build one Rhino here. Even here with a lot of assistance, this Rhino is taking a long time. The Rhinos push forward. Got a nice group of them here. They should be able to just vaporize the Mantis to come into range very quickly. The Medusa are what you have to be afraid of. The stuns will do will really hurt the damage output of those Rhinos, as well as doing big damage. But a group of Rhinos like this can really take on a huge number of Mantis, as the Mantis will have difficulty getting you'll have difficulty getting a lot of Mantis into range at once. You can see it is taking some time to reclaim these mexes, rebuild them. And more Rhinos get surrounded in this issue. Two T2 mexes for Blackheart, and it looks like there's just more T1 factories being added. Blackheart now sending his ACU to the left now, leaving this expansion, leaving it defended by PDs and some Mantis, hoping that'll be enough. A lot of T1 bombers out for Petric, and he sent them to the right. You can see where the transports are coming from actually. They were... Oh... Well, the paratroopers get bombed before they even get off the ground. That hurts. You can see he built an air factory here just for transports, so he doesn't have to send transports up this way where they may be spotted or cut off or something. But yeah, the bombers kill all the paratroopers, all the Medusa, before they get off the ground now. That's one way to stop the drops. Kill the units before they even get into the transport. Look at that. So many wrecks, so many dead Mantis and Medusa, and so many more pouring towards the commander, who is still on full health. Has 7,000 mass killed, 166 kills. Mexes are going down, the expansion is going down. And again, we question where are the units for Petric. I think, again, we just keep seeing Rhinos getting surrounded and killed, even though these guys have a lot of kills, so they've certainly paid for themselves, but still don't like to see them die like this. Both had a vet level. Alright, we have some fresh troops coming in this direction, and out from the base on this side. Air fight. Oh, there's a lot more air for Petric, as usual in this match so far. Total mass though very similar, because Petric Blackheart has about 10,000 more mass in terms of reclaim. That has been keeping him in the game. Whoa. This is a big spam he's got, and he's pushing, still pushing. The ACU now arrives in range of some T2 tanks, and does he have overcharge? Well, he has no power, that's the issue. He certainly has he has an energy storage to allow him to overcharge these units, but not the power income required. A real lack of power here. More power being built, being thrown up quickly. But again, this whole expansion is dead now, and there's only a few rhinos with the commander. And if the commander gets surrounded, it's gonna look like what happens when those rhinos get surrounded. It will be a quick death, so he's always very careful to keep the Medusa as far away from him as possible. So those 6 T2MXs turned to 4 after that drop a while ago, and he has not been ecoing since then. He's just been trying to maintain his map control. Oh, nice bomber there, ready and waiting for the drop to come in. And now the transport will get killed. It's quite expensive if you're losing the transport every time you're dropping. Then those drops become quite expensive. So well defended there by Petric. Very quick reactions, and nice to have those T1 bombers on hand. Here come the T1 bombers towards the Mantis army, getting a lot of damage done there with those drops. We also have a lot of factories built on the front line as well to build engineers to regain the reclaim. You can see so many of these wrecks have been taken by Blackheart. That's where he's getting the majority of his reclaim is right here, and he continues to put pressure and is spamming Mantis and Medusa out of these factories as well as engineers. Even got some factories over here. Just has factories everywhere. Petric is killing the expansion and taking it for himself on the other side. Oh, it's some units have gotten in through the middle of the map here. I see more dead rhinos. And 4 mexes go down. A very nice raid from Blackheart, and now Petric in more danger than perhaps he's ever been. Again, the rhino's getting stunned and not able to do anything. Both of them go down. The ACU is in so much danger now. Blackheart with his commander in range, but with no gun, of course. Now a beetle could be heading towards Blackheart. The rhinos are here to try and defend, and Petric is just running. What he's afraid of is the Mantis getting in behind the ACU and blocking him from retreating, so he's constantly trying to run away. Eating quite a few Medusa shots there. So much spam coming towards Petric. But now a lot of air coming for Blackheart's commander. So many T1 bombers targeting him. The beetle goes down. I don't know what it killed. It wasn't sent after the commander there. And a lot of jesters and bombers coming after Blackheart's commander. He's losing HP so rapidly. And he's trying to focus down the ACU, but most of these Medusa can't even shoot the commander. And Petric survives quite healthily, just going below 10,000 HP. And that was a nice try from Blackheart, but it was always going to be very difficult. He really only had T1 land, and well, with the T1 land, he, you can see, put so much pressure on all of the factories aimed towards the commander there at the end. But yeah, without any air or good anti-air with his commander, he sort of inevitably was going to die to jesters or even bombers. I expect the bombers did more there than the jesters did. Quite an interesting game though. Two very different strategies. And well played to Petric. That's 1-0 in the final. Nice 25-minute game. So let's open game number 2. Game number 2 is going to be on Point of Reach V4 20x20 map. The way the maps progress is we start with a 10x10, then we move to a 20x map, then we move to a 5, then a 10, then a 20, and back to a 5, and then a 10. If we get the full 7 maps, and any draws that occur are replayed on the same map until we have a decisive victory. So, Point of Reach, we're on the 20x map now, one of the 20x maps. Both players choosing Seraphim. Hyperbolic prep chamber. Well, let's see what they've prepped. Now, and there's quite a few players have said they had prepped some certain build orders for certain maps. So let's see what Blackheart comes up with, what Petric comes up with. See if they actually get to use any of the ideas, because that's the thing with prep is you may prep things, but it doesn't mean necessarily you will get the chance to use them, or you'll feel that against a certain opponent your prep will be a good strategy against a certain player. So we have no P-Gen, straight to the Hydro. Blackheart moves this engineer back out of the way of the mech, out of the P-Gen. Same story for Petric. Although he sends the first expanding engineer to get the mexes on his own island, Blackheart is moving his first expanding engineer to his expansion island, and the second expanding engineer is going up his main island and getting some tree reclaim on the way as well. There are some tree groups around the map, not a huge number, but certainly worth grabbing early on. And both of them assisting the ACU quickly with 2 engineers, 3 power generators, scout, 2 inties, and a transport. Safety first. Petric building more power generators. Actually built 4, then an air factory, then a 5th P-Gen, and now he's going to assist the transport that is building. So certainly a riskier build. Also, he leaves with the commander because he can't actually afford to stand there and assist the air factory who would have stalled power. So better to use that time to walk, because AC's pretty slow. So if you're standing still and stalling, it's better to walk to your eventual destination. This looks quite scary. The first scout is used immediately to spot Petric's transport. It's important if you're going for indies, I would say you have to go scout first so you can actually spot the transport and target it. And it has been targeted. There's 2 inties heading there. 2 inties going to be a lot more effective than 1 in catching a transport. And this looks to be going extremely well for Blackheart already. The transport for Petric is denied. You can see he was bringing a Tham with him to secure that expansion should they have both dropped in the same position. But the Tham looking quite useless. Anti-air thrown up. That's reasonably expensive to throw that up immediately, and he did want to scare away those inties, and he also is going to build an air factory. He has to find some use for those engineers, so that's what he's doing. Don't want them idle. Better to use them to actually build something useful than stand around waiting for a transport to come. He will have to replace the transport though quite quickly, and it's on the way now. But Blackheart with 3 inties now, chasing one of Petric's. Petric does have multiple air scouts trying to spot things, but spotting things is not going to be too useful for him because he has not enough air to do anything about it. Blackheart drops in the right expansion and returns his transport home, but already he has a second transport leaving the base, heading to the left island. And it looks like, well, he's definitely going to reach both the main contended expansion islands before Petric is. And already this looks like just a build order that simply counters what Petric was doing. Transport again for Petric is spotted already, and if I hover over these I can see they have a direct attack order on that transport already. Petric now moves to the right. He does not have a Tham with him on this transport. The Tham got left behind. This sad Tham has absolutely nothing to do now. Could be reclaimed. Perhaps he could be a one-man army against drops on this front of his main island, but 2 factories going to be on this island before Petric even lands with his NGs. On the left side, similarly, there's going to be a building factory already before anything arrives from Petric, and he is scouting. He can see this. Oh no, he even lost the transport to those inties. Oh my god, those inties have done so much damage. One of them has 2 veterancy, the other has 1. He is probably going to lose those inties, but who cares? Look at the damage they've done. I mean, these engineers would not have survived the tanks and artillery that were coming out of these factories, but they didn't even get a chance to do anything there. And the transport is lost, and this looks exceptionally good for Blackheart now. And what can the plan be for Petric now? Yeah, at this point his chances of winning are very, very low. And so I think he really has to go for something extreme, something cheesy. Now you see T2 Air is upgrading quickly. Where's the ACU? Well, the ACU is making T2, so I think perhaps a lot of you can see where this is going. T2 Air and a T2 ACU tells me that there may be a comm drop coming. The commander may be on his way behind enemy lines. There goes that bomber. Petric using his air, being very annoying. He's killed a lot of Blackheart's air. Actually, Blackheart also has... Okay, not only does Blackheart have both the expansion islands, so he has 4 islands to himself versus 4 of the large islands, that is. And he also has 2 T2 mexes as well. So, I mean, the build that Blackheart has done is really ridiculously good and a perfect counter to what Petric has done. But the T2 transport is done. You can see it immediately went for a T2 transport, and now he's making Nothas, is Petric. Annoying Zuis from the Seraphim are floating in from the water to start raiding and do damage. Mex is taking hits. Factory's taking hits. And the transport is above the commander's head. He already has T2 on that ACU. Rushed it very quickly. And the Seraphim transport is doing Seraphim transport things. But here he goes. Now let's see. He is going to head for the main island. That has to be the case. We also have engineers heading. Oh, and that Tham. Finally. Some meaning in his life. He's gonna drop on the opponent's expansion. Petric is headed for the main base of Blackheart. And really, he had to do this. Oh, this is worrying though. Yeah. Don't fly into those mountains. It's it's gonna slow down your drop a bit. Now he has to return all the way to the land. Deploys his legs. It's quite funny how the commander lands. And he's landed in the main base. Now he had to land in the main base because there's really not possible to do enough damage otherwise. Dropping in one of the expansions is not gonna do enough damage, not be powerful enough to actually get back in the game, but landing on top of your opponent's power and killing virtually all of it very quickly with T1 PDs is definitely could get you back in the game. Air is one. Nothas are coming to speed up the process of power sniping. And a lot of T1 factories being constructed by Blackheart, and the reason for that is T1 artillery is the best defense against a commander drop of any kind, and especially if you have Zoes, then spam them as much as you can to try and slow down the commander, damage what they're building. Now a T2 PD from this engineer will also be a very good defensive tool. And the Notas are doing so much damage though. You can see they immediately sniped the anti-air, and now they're bombing PGens, engineers, factories, mexes as well. All those juicy T2 mexes are going to go down. We have a T2 PD from Petric. On the other ends of the map we have Zoes going everywhere. We have gunships from Petric raiding all the expansion mexes. Frigates from Blackheart are not going to be too effective. There's not that many mexes to raid, and he's also already raiding a lot of them with Zoes in the main base. Petric walks forward, and is he reclaiming that? No, he's capturing the factory. He grabs the factory for himself. The factory is really just going to tank damage, though. It's not going to actually be able to produce anything. I think it's going to die. T1 PD goes up. Oh, so many T2 engineers. These engineers are extremely valuable for defending against this the commander, so should try and keep those alive. Zoes from Petric, the engineers that were dropped here have been building factories to produce Zoes and aid the commander in his attacks. Zoe drop into the expansion. Oh, I wonder if any of those were T2. Whether they were or not, they're now dead, and Blackheart's commander has to come over and try and save the rest of this base, especially the T2 mechs and the T2 land headquarters. Oh, counter drop here. 3 transports full of engineers and Zoes get, well, that was a suicide drop. A nice attempt though. More drops planned from Blackheart, and it looks like Petric has cleaned up most of the annoying stuff around this side of the island, but coming into his main base now are about a dozen Zoes, and they're gonna vaporize that T1 PD, and he's got to be careful. He could lose a lot of power here. He does have a gunship though to help him out. T2 PD quite far forward is going to kill a lot of stuff. And we have T2 PD going up from these engineers now to try and hold back the ACU, but Blackheart's base is gone. His main base is completely gone. He's replaced a lot of power on this side, but again, that is under attack now from gunships. More anti-air is needed, I think, to defend there. And perhaps Notas can come in and do more damage on this side. Zooey invasion on this island. There's just so much stuff happening. And reacting to all these things, it's gotta be so difficult. You can see the Navy has been paused, although some frigates here would be pretty nice. This island is gonna take some damage from all of these Zooeys. Factory goes down, mexes are going down. And of course, total air control for Petric, and that should not be surprising given that he actually hasn't lost all of his power, unlike Blackheart. And it's air being so power intensive. Once you get comm dropped, you should also be losing air because you're gonna lose your power income. Petric has lost his PD here. He's gonna have to replace that. He seems to be base building, but he's losing a lot of HP. He's standing in range of 2 T2 PDs. Has down to 2,200 HP. 1,600. He's not reacting. No. No. Oh. Oh my god. I can't believe it. Neither can Blackheart. The one thing Petric didn't react to. I mean, he was in such a good position now. He worked so hard to get to that position, and then to lose his ACU by just forgetting about it. And he just lost thousands of HP standing in range of those PDs. Well, they do show up on the radar. I don't know how they're actually shown there, but not sure how he could see them, but damn, that's unfortunate for Petric. Pretty fortunate for Blackheart to rescue that game. I mean, it wasn't over, but it looked quite bad for Blackheart. If Petric could have taken this out, could have stabilized with just more Zooey spam, and just if his ACU doesn't die there, I think he's clearly in a really good position with complete air control. And well, that didn't happen, and Blackheart brings it back to 1-1 after a great start, and then a fortuitous end. So that's game 2. Very nice comm drop from Petric. Now let's move to game 3 as the series stands at 1-1. 1-1. Game 3, we're back to 5x5. Well, actually the first 5x5 of the series. Cobalt Valley, one of the favored 5x5 maps, and you may say, hang on, it's not a 5x5, it's 10x10, and also this replay seems to be some kind of, there's some connection issues, I believe. So let's go into the actual replay. Yeah, you probably have, some of you have noticed that Cobalt Valley is actually listed as 10x10 there. Here, on the top right. And that is correct, however, it is considered by the competitive community, we'll call it, as a 5x5 map, same as Finn's Revenge would be considered as really a 5x5, because we can see a lot of unplayable area on the outside, although you can actually have units up here, just they won't have much to do. So it's used in tournaments as a 5x5 map and used in map pools, ladder pools. Listed as a 5x5, although it is to an extent. So, Cyber Mirror once again. Unsurprising, really, on a, well, 5x5. I think in tournaments we generally see Cybern or Aeon. So, slightly different build orders here. Petric makes a power generator. Blackheart does not. So the difference here is Blackheart will have a faster hydrocarbon and won't have one inefficient or less efficient power generator, but he'll be slightly slower to make his 4th mass extractor. Petric, well, had his mechs a bit faster, hydro a bit slower. All in all, very minor differences. And difficult to say which is superior. A lab for Petric. Scout moves ahead. Ooh, he turns on the cloak. And gets blasted. Not sure why he ran straight there, because, I mean, cloak isn't going to help you against the Omni sensor of the ACU. And also, he's not really going to... Well, actually, no, I do know why. He was searching to see if there was going to be a second air factory with that mole. I guess just the cloak is sort of irrelevant. But could maybe protect him versus a quick mantis coming out of the base, so I guess it made perfect sense. But he didn't see a second air factory. However, after the cloaked mole was killed, Blackheart made an air factory as his 3rd factory and is going for a bomber. Meanwhile, Petric already has an air scout and an inti, and this bomber is going to be killed before it gets to do anything. I'm quite confident of that. Blackheart looks to have so many more units also than Petric, though. So we have 7 Mantis and only 4 for Petric. Also the lab. Well, I didn't say, I did show. It did nothing. It was killed by this Mantis right here. And the bomber is getting killed for free. So all Blackheart really should do now is make sure the bomber lands as close to an engineer as possible so that he can reclaim it. At least you can get back your 85 mass investment. The power is gone forever, however. That's a nice... Not a nice 2-hour combo. Nice raid from Blackheart. And that raid is going to continue. Just seems to be a better build order for Blackheart in terms of the land. Although he did lose the bomber for free, still had more land units. Got a good raid here. This engineer is doomed. This mech could also be on the chopping block. Bomber now from Petric after he, well, won air, I would say, quote unquote. 4 land factories up in the base, 4 land factories, so yeah, you can see that in terms of base building looking pretty much identical. Blackheart somehow has significantly more power reclaim. Well, significantly, not that significant, I guess. About 800 more power reclaim. It's not a huge amount, but certainly helps. 2 kills for the bomber, 1 an NG, I believe, and 1 a Mantis. Also, the mechs is here going to go down. This mechs was raided, and also this mechs may be raided. You can see how nice the micro must have been for Blackheart here, because he has 2 vetted Mantis on low HP, and they raid the mechs, so Nice micro from Blackheart clearly on this side. And now he's actually, once again, getting very nice trade on the units that were sent to retake this base. The bomber goes down. Air is lost for Petric as Blackheart kills the bomber and the inties. Not before this expansion is killed by a bomber and a mantis. And Blackheart, being quite aggressive with the ACU, moves forward all the way to this mechs and kills it. Also cutting off units coming out of the base. They have to run around the ACU, which is quite annoying. The gesture that was made by Petric is hidden, as soon as it came out of the factory, air had just been lost, so he has to sneak it around the side. Can't use it as he would like, and Blackheart looks to be in a dominant position with superior score, but more importantly, superior unit numbers by the looks of it. Again, this mech will die, and if he kills the engineer as well, that would be very nice. He is targeting him. The mech goes down. The engineer escapes for now. We have how many? 40 mantis versus 19. That is absolutely crushing advantage. Absolutely a crushing advantage. And also air control for Blackheart. And his gesture's going to go down after killing one mechs and doing slight damage to something else. And that's a decent chunk of mass deposited in the base as well, so Blackheart could be grabbing that. But he's more focused on trapping this commander. Petric is... oh god, this is scary. I don't see any way for him to escape now. All of his units, well, he just doesn't have any units to help him out. Most of them are only coming out of the base, and I think Petric is dead already. The ACU gets distracted by a scout there, providing some respite, but it doesn't matter. Petric can't get out of range of the commander or the 20 mantis that are with this commander, so this is the end. What a crush on this map. That was a exceptional victory for Blackheart. I mean, it's one thing to even take a game off Petric, but to win that convincingly in under 8 minutes with it, and I mean, yeah, just very, that was an extremely impressive game from Blackheart. Well played. And Blackheart takes the lead once again. No, not once again. He lost the first game. He takes the lead for the first time. 2-1 to Blackheart in this best of 7. Fantastic win there. Showing his strength on the 5x5. So let's move on to game number 4. The series is not disappointing at all. Game number 4, we move to a 10x10 map once again, following the sequence. This map is a very old map, and it's an old Total Annihilation remake map. Well, a remake of a Total Annihilation map, if I say it more correctly, or even correctly at all. It's the Cold Place. Very white map. Can be quite difficult to spot the mexes, if I'm honest. And also Blackheart, well, it's a lot easier to spot them, I guess, when you go into the observer mode here, rather, or well, the player POV rather than observer. So here you can see the mechs are basically perfectly spread out, except for the collection here and a small collection here that are a bit closer together. Very, very evenly spread. We also have reclaim very evenly spread around the map. Maybe just a bit missing here. It's a bit blank. But a lot of mass on this map and a huge amount in the middle of the map, especially right in the center of the water here, but really all throughout the center ocean or lake. That's the key feature of the map, as well as the openness. So a lab quickly out for Petric. Unsurprising, it's very common to make labs on this map. Very common to make even multiple labs. And both of them are heading in the same direction. Petric's was built a bit sooner. Now, will he go for... He's gone second land, third air. Blackheart, similar story. Doesn't want to go second air. Second air bomber is certainly a strategy you can opt for on a map like this. But you do not want to delay your air too long. Looks like Blackheart is under pressure here. He had the worst of it, but now we're in an even battle. And actually Blackheart comes out on top. Gets both the kills. After he initially went down on low HP versus Petric's lab. But in the end, out micros Petric and his lab survives. He kills the scout, kills the lab. Mantis comes out and looks to be on a perfect course to stop the lab, although the lab has turned northwards a bit, and he may have just dodged the Mantis there, but the scout comes to the rescue, spots the lab. The lab, oh, he nails the scout as well. Now an attack order given onto the lab from the Mantis, but he could be chasing for a long time, and this lab could even get kills before the Mantis catches him. Mantis v Mantis, the one with the scout gets the first shots, but then the can't turn its body turret fast enough to shoot back properly, and actually, okay, somehow Blackheart won that fight as well. That was a strange one. It looked like Blackheart had lost more HP once again, but somehow won the 1v1. And this lab was actually dealt with and did not get any more kills. This engineer survived and actually didn't even take damage, so well defended there in the end. Now the builds, we can see, well, we have 4 factories in the base. Here we have 3, but we have a naval factory all ready for Blackheart, quickly sending engineers, 2 engineers to build this, and he's going for a submarine. Meanwhile, Petric much slower with his naval factory, only 1 engineer building it, still not finished, and the ACU is walking directly across the pond, and what he's going to do is remove this factory as quickly as possible, and the way to do that is to reclaim it. Very, very nice fight from Petric. He loses only a single Mantis. I thought he was going to lose 0, but he lost only 1 and killed 3 there. So that's a very good fight, and that's going to enable him to even get a raid off. Kill this engineer. The engineer takes as much health as it can from the Mantis by reclaiming it, but it does go down anyway. Another Mantis goes down. And this Mantis is going to win the 1v1 as well. He has too much health. What else can he find? The submarine is out for Blackheart and begins attacking the ACU of Petric. Petric moves towards it. He's going to try reclaim it, I think. Or is he? No, he's not. That was just a weird pathfinding from the ACU. He didn't actually intend to move towards the submarine. Petric looks to be sending almost all of his tanks to the top side, and he has engineers to the bottom side which are completely undefended. He only has a scout there for moral support, but no Mantis, and there's 3 Mantis heading that way from Blackheart, so these engineers are very, very vulnerable at the moment. Although the lack of mantis on the top side is maybe hurting Blackheart. And there goes that naval factory, but not before 2 submarines come out. And they already have done significant damage to that ACU. Meanwhile, Blackheart, similar story, he's walked across the pond, reclaiming that naval factory before any naval units come out. So no navy at all for Petric, and he is running away with this engineer. This engineer, however, not being a hover engineer, can be killed by a submarine. Just like the UEF engineer, and unlike the Aeon and Seraphim engineers which hover. Which is a small detail, but not an unimportant one. PD going up in the base to try and defend it, but there's a lot of power which looks quite vulnerable here. And the PD will not defend it if Petric stands around here. He can kill a lot of P-gens, but now he is actually losing a lot of HP to the Mantis and the PD. Still looks like he has superior land force on the top side, and could do some raiding. Also, air looks to be completely won for Petric, and he's raiding now with a Jester. The Jester is not only killing the factory, it seems to also be killing the units that could be under construction, although it's idle now. Killing this factory is going to be very useful, and this engineer seems to have survived. If he gets the factory up, this expansion should be quite secure. Petric very low on HP now. Wow. The Mantis are doing so much damage, and he's only just got this first veterancy now. So he's running for his life. Every Mantis that comes out of the factory is probably seems to be headed towards the commander, as well, Blackheart really is in a horrible situation. His only advantage is the middle, and although the middle is crucial, if you're this far behind in terms of land, it's not going to bring you back from the brink. And there's also a nice naval factory built here, so this is not completely his just yet. Submarine will have to find this location and kill it, but already a 2 versus 0 has turned into a 2 versus 1. Sliver appears. Petric actually is going back to the base. He doesn't feel too scared, even though he's on 3000 HP. He's still using that commander, using all of his advantages. He has some units with him, but they're actually disappearing quite rapidly now. So he's going to be alone again very quickly, actually. Most of his units are still in his base. Oh, bad rally points here, meaning there's tens of units, well, maybe 15 units, standing still in the base there. And now he could be dying here. There's so many Mantis surrounding him. Oh, a beautiful overcharge. Gets him out of harm's way. Well, somewhat, but he mainly gets him a veterancy. Gives him a little boost of health, and also a boost in regen. But he's already back to 2000 health now, and far from a veterancy. 1600, and there's every single Mantis out of this base is coming straight for him. And now Blackheart's commander is headed this way. If he gets into range, Petric is doomed. The blocking of the Mantis, the pathfinding is oh no, 1200 HP. Let's see, how close is Blackheart? Oh, he's in range. He's in range, and Petric has to be. Blackheart just needs to continually. Oh, a veterancy from Petric gets the third veterancy, bringing him up to 3000 HP, and he's also trying to place factories in front of Blackheart's commander to block him, and he has successfully gotten out of range again. But now, to stay out of range, he has to head towards the wall that is the edge of the map, and Once he gets there, well, of course he has nowhere to go, and Blackheart will quickly bring him below certainly the draw potential, but can he get the win? That's the question. And now Petric moves back into range and starts running towards his own units, as he should. Blackheart follows, keeps him close, and continues. He has no choice but to continue shooting the commander. He can't afford to shoot the units at all. He's going to have to just hope that he can do enough damage to kill him, but this looks like a draw. This looks like a draw. Commander has 100 DPS without the gun upgrade, which means he would have needed over 20 seconds to kill the ACU. He's not surviving all those mantis that long. And with the vet, Petric survives. Without it, he would have died and lost the game, I'm sure. Also, without the factory blocking here, we would have seen a loss, I think. But it's a draw. And so we get to see this map replayed. Them's the rules. Blackheart was very sad to see the veterancy come in. He'll be feeling slightly hard done by, but then, well, if we think back to Point of Reach, can't have too many complaints, I would say. But here we go. The replay of this map, the cold place. I'm not disappointed to see it again. Let's see if there's anything different in the builds. Looks to be very similar. Still third air for Petric. Blackheart. Yep, third air once again. But will we see the fast... Actually, let's see how many pigeons we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And, well, certainly fewer for Blackheart. 2, 4, 7. So that is certainly a pretty major difference. Why does Petric need so much power? Or why does Blackheart need so little? More like. 7 pigeons for 2 land factories and an air factory is quite low. Quite a low amount of power. Lab v lab. Looks like it's the exact same timing as well. Petric's out first and Blackheart's out 1 unit later out of the factory. Petric, given that he's making more power, probably tells me that he's assisting his ACU perhaps more. Will we see the fast naval factory from Blackheart? The micro battle scouts are dispatched with. Oh, it's hard to keep them in shot while they're both getting stuck on the ice. And Petric wins this one. 1-1 in the lab battles. And once again we'll see the lab get killed by a mantis, I think. Yep. There we go. Same result in the end, really. Air factory going up. Blackheart's going up at the same time. Blackheart's building it with his ACU. Petric's building it with 2 engineers. And the ACU is on the move. And he's going to make the same move across the water. This engineer again, solo building a naval factory. This engineer getting some assistance from his friendo. Slightly faster mixes for Petric, it seems, but well, largely the same. We have 3 expanding engineers here and 3 for Petric. 4th factory coming up. Faster for Petric. So Petric is choosing to go slower to the Navy, and as a trade-off he's getting faster land. So you can see once you at the highest level of the game, the trade-offs are very clear, as both players are going to be extremely similar in terms of just their efficiency. So makes it very clear and logical when you're watching the game. Blackheart a bit AFK, that's not good for him, but he's not AFK for long with that commander. He's gonna head across, and it looks like again he will probably reclaim this factory without allowing any naval units out. That seems likely. Again, this raid on the top side for Petric, but it's not going half as well as it went last time. Last time it was extremely good, but this time Blackheart completely ready for it. And Blackheart is the one who gets the better trade in the end. Those mantis kill each other. They're parting shots. Very good raid, killing a expensive radar and an engineer. Or a valuable radar. Also a nice engineer kill here. Killing these engineers on the outside of the map, outside the base, it's very useful because as you can see, what they're doing is getting reclaim from all this ice and also the wrecks on the map. So killing those engineers is killing mass income mainly, and it looks like only one attack submarine is going to come out. This one is paused because he realizes that it's not going to finish, so it's a sunk cost. Mantis gets found and killed, and this engineer, another engineer, is going to go down. Again, the Mantis run in straight across the map and join up with the ACU, as we see something very close to a rerun of the previous game. And again, Petric has the superior build order. He has significantly more mass actually, and going for faster land and slower on the Navy is helping him. Clearly going faster with building more power generators before his air factory was also beneficial. And he seems to have expanded faster to the bottom side. Has he gotten more reclaim? Yes, slightly more reclaim. And let's check the unit count. He probably should also have more units. Oh. Almost 20 Mantis. 18. And actually more Mantis, but the coverage is far better for Petric. Oh, this is going to take a lot of health off Petric's ACU. He's struggling to get into the water, but look at this. You have so many Mantis packed into a small area that Petric loses more than half of the health in his commander. Ouch. That is significant. It's going to take a while to get that health back. And meanwhile, Blackheart walked to here, got rid of the naval factory. One engineer escaped, as we saw before, and has reclaimed a significant amount of the water, of the ice in the water. Blackheart retreats towards his own base, gets some reclaim, builds a naval factory, and now gets more reclaim. Now, what is he going to do with the commander, though? Is he going to come home? Oh, he's under a lot of pressure on this side now. 6 Mantis have arrived with a scout, and they get there too late to deny the factory from being constructed, but they're still going to do significant damage. If they should be able to find these engineers and kill them. Again, denying mass and killing mexes. And once again, Petric has air control, as we saw in the last game. His expansion here is completely secure. Even, well, it's actually much better than in the last game. 2 factories up. Mantis and engineers are going to be constructed. Attack and economy. The beauty of a factory. It can do, well, it can attack, or it can improve your mass income by building engineers. And yeah, the expansion of Blackheart is completely damaged. Look at the, it's missing so many, basically all of them outer mexes are missing, and also his expansion has one of its mexes constructed, the rest are dead. Oh, Blackheart has found the ACU. That chick is now slightly, oh, look at this. You see these Mantis? You see where they're going? They're not going to anywhere but the ACU. So the ACU going to be at... Well, first Petric tried to do a bit of reclaiming on this submarine. That's why it's lost HP. But now... Well, he's not going to be able to reclaim it. But he is actually going to be able to get a torpedo defense up. Oh, the submarine is... the submarine gets... well, it comes out of the water, comes to the surface, and tries to kill the engineers, but the torpedo defense is constructed, slowly turns its turret towards the submarine, and the submarine barely escapes. Or does it actually? No, it doesn't. No, it does, never mind. But still, the torpedo defense goes up. Blackheart is now capturing the torpedo defense. Petric needs to control K this, otherwise it will fall into Blackheart's hands. He does. He control K's the torpedo defense and continues to run with his ACU. Blackheart now, having stopped to do this, is no longer in range of the ACU. And these Mantis were a Hail Mary to try and maybe stop him from coming out of the water. But with only one submarine, it's very difficult to do enough damage to the ACU. And now Petric, being so far ahead already, has immediately switched to T2 air, knowing that he was under so much pressure in the water, or really only in danger. Only his ACU is in danger. And the rest of the map is looking extremely good for him. But so he immediately switched to T2 air, got some torp bombers out, and Blackheart quit as soon as he saw those 3 torpedo bombers. So extremely impressive performance by Petric there. Clearly very strong on this map. Makes me very glad that I banned this map against him. He was quite disappointed he didn't get to play it against me, but yeah, having seen this, I think I made the right choice. And that brings us to, after 4 games, well, after 4 maps I should say, more than 4 games, but 4 maps, the score stands at 2-2. So let's press on. 2-2 in this best of 7. We have potentially 3 more maps. And now that we've completed another cycle, we move from, well, we didn't complete another cycle, but now that we've moved from 5x5 to 10x10, we move on to 20x20. And what better place to come but Settings. Both players actually chose Seraphim on this map, so I'm not sure why Seraphim would be the choice particularly here, but certainly not a bad choice. But yes, again, a mirror matchup, and it's Seraphim versus Seraphim. First land, second land. So there's so many possibilities on Settings clutch. But first, the main goal is to not give away too much of the reclaim in middle. Fight for that, and also while you're doing it, don't die there. So once you get past that point, even more options emerge. But even just managing those things, there are many possibilities at the start of the game. So let's see what the players do. Blackheart is heading for the Hydro quickly, it seems, getting a lot of tree reclaim on the way. Not all of it, but quite a bit. Petric doing similar. Important to note that Petric has the worst spot, just saying. Blackheart has the closer hydrocarbon, which is certainly unbalanced, imbalanced, but such is Settings. It's somewhat minor, and provides a wonderful excuse should you lose as the top player. So it's not all bad. So 4 power generators before the second land factory. Petric meanwhile already has his land factory up, his second one, and he has 3 PGens. Now finished his 4th. So clearly energy reclaim from the tree is being used. Also, we can see what's this about? Not sure what's happening here. And looks like an air factory is what's planned next for Blackheart. Both players with Selines in the middle of the map. This one stealth and cloaked, and he's here. Both of these guys are here to spot passing tanks and possibly passing Selines. Of course, labs not a possibility in a Seraphim mirror matchup. Air scout is out for Petric, so he's faster to get his air factory up. He already has 4 factories now, 3 land, 1 air. Meanwhile, yeah, Blackheart's slower with the factory production, but faster in expansion. He's had more mass income for the whole game. He also has 2 engineers now expanding, and they seem to be expanding quite significantly faster than Petric. So Petric only sending 1 engineer to the rock position now. Petric also delayed these 2 mexes at the back of his base. Actually, that's one thing. Blackheart also has these mexes seem to be a bit closer for Blackheart. They're more on the way to the Hydro. So he also grabbed those. But all this faster expansion has meant it less, well, slower factories, and so less units now. Petric arrives in middle first and is slightly idle with his ACU, sadly. Excuse me, sir. You have reclaiming to do. There we go. These things happen, but they're usually caught quite quickly, as we can see. Oh, fast transport for Blackheart. And this is one of the many possible strategies on settings. We're going to see a proxy, and look at this. One of the last mexes that will ever be built by the top player is probably this one. And Blackheart's dropping there into the rock position, and he has plenty of space to start spamming factories here. And he's going to go for a proxy. Petric. Well, would you look at that? He's doing something very similar. Both the players seem to be going for proxies. Petric in the middle has constructed a factory, and that should allow him to get engineers out to reclaim, and he can concentrate on fighting with his AC, which is obviously much more important. And oh, I don't think Petric spotted this transport, although he sent a couple of inties here. It's a bit of a Hail Mary to expect inties to spot anything. They have very low vision, no radar. Gotta make scouts if you want to spot things, really. But he's also dropping in a good position. You can see there's also no trees here, and it's nice and flat, so he doesn't have to get rid of any trees to place factories. In the middle though, Blackheart is under. Oh no, he's in under a lot of pressure now, losing a lot of HP already. 7,000 HP now, as he just wandered a bit too far away from his units while also having fewer units. Petric took full advantage immediately, got his units in range and his ACU, and perhaps he can continue pushing. I think really Blackheart's still lacking units. Now he has a decent spam coming though. Huge spam. Okay, he stopped some of that as he doesn't have the mass to continue building factories, so spam is going to slow down now that he's stalling mass. Also, he needs that mass to build the factories in Petric's expansion, so he's going to have to build less in his own main base. Petric with much more concise base. Blackheart is growing towards his enemy, and Petric with far more mass income now. So although it seemed like a faster expansion initially from Blackheart, it actually slowed down, and you can see Petric has filled out more mexes in his back expansion compared to Blackheart, although Blackheart was faster to the rock position. Blackheart now below 5,000 HP, while Petric is on 9k, and this proxy already doing damage. Expansion will die, and Petric, I think Blackheart should be, well, he needs some of these rocks maybe to expand to the mexes quite quickly, but mainly he needs to, I guess, focus on his commander, because he could die at any moment here, it feels like. And having lost that so much HP initially in the first attack, where he just got caught slightly out of position, it's really an uphill battle in the middle for him now. And he is pulling back some HP off Petric, and Petric is perhaps lacking a few units. A lot of reclaiming engineers are grabbing a lot of trees, unfortunately, instead of say the Salems and T2 and T3 Rex, but both these players just committed to a T1 war in the middle, and Petric is coming out on top. Although he has less veterancy, they both have one level of vet. Some of the units from the rock base arrive in the main base of Petric, and on the other side, well, this is going to be really painful. The beach is going to die, and the back expansion, will they ever even get constructed? Because there's only a couple of engineers there. They could be very quickly killed, and there's no factories at all to build units back there. So units from the main base will have to be sent to the back, really. There's no bombers or anything to help out at the moment. The rock base perhaps is the safest, being furthest from the proxy, but it's not really constructed yet. Only the core of the rock base is built so far. Perhaps Blackheart's a bit slow there. Petric still maintaining the pressure. He's on 6,000 HP, and Blackheart is on under 3,000, although he's about to get his second vet level now. But Petric maybe being a bit too aggressive. He's gonna lose a lot of HP. He's walking right into the middle of so many units, but he's going for the kill. Blackheart on 1,000 HP, 600. And with the kill on the ACU, Blackheart got his veterancy, going from 1,980 something mass killed to just over 2,000, giving him a vet level and giving him 500 HP and just over. Well, it gave him 1,100 HP and allowed him to survive the blast of the ACU. And we can see the reactions from the live casters, the observers. They are quite shocked. And actually, well, this caused a lot of salt actually at the time, and of course what I just explained should tell you that it really doesn't make sense to gain veterancy for killing something and also survive the explosion because of that. And actually this wasn't supposed to happen, this gaining veterancy for killing an ACU and also gaining the HP and surviving the blast. But it did happen. Now it's fixed in subsequent patches, but Petric was not happy about this. But the it did stand in the tournament, this result, and Petric does lose this game. Blackheart does take this win, and Blackheart is now 3-2 up. 3-2 up with potentially 2 maps to go. Blackheart needs just 1 win to take the tournament. Spicy. Let's move to map number 6. From 20x20 to 5x5. And we saw how well Blackheart played in the previous 5x5 map, Cobalt Valley, where he really absolutely dominated Petric, killing him in less than 8 minutes without controversy. So, map number 6, Williamson's Bridge. Certainly an interesting 5x5 map. It's quite looks quite good. Plays well. I personally am so bad at this map that it makes me not a fan, but I'm a bit biased because of my very poor results here, but it is one of the favored 5x5s also. Both players are Seraphim. Once again, we see a lot of Seraphim in this this final. We have not seen UEF, and we have not seen Aeon. We've seen a lot of Cybrant and actually more Seraphim. Let me think. We had Cybrant, followed by Sarah, followed by Cybrant, followed by Cybern followed by Sarah. So we've had 3 Cybern, 2 Sarah. And now it's 3-all between those two. So certainly a pattern emerging there. And this map, generally what happens is the ACUs, well, usually they move one, the top player goes down, bottom player goes up, and they bring artillery and tanks with them, and they try and expand and grab mexes and significant amounts of reclaim around the map as much as they can, and then assault the enemy base with artillery and the commander, and attempt to kill the enemy base before they lose their own. It is a base trade map, one of the base trade maps on in Supreme Commander. So we have 5 PGens, second land, 5 PGens, second land, factory for Petric, third land factory coming up. Looks like more assistance for Blackheart. He is depleting those resources. 2 engineers expanding in this direction. Undefended at the moment. And the first 2 tanks are sent in this direction, which could be bad. We have a THAM coming for both these engineers are actually in danger now. And there goes that one. Will the second one be killed? He's gonna try and grab this reclaim at least before he dies. That's the most valuable thing in the area. He is gonna lose both the engineers though. Absolutely brutal raid there from this tank. THAM killing 2 engineers at 3 minutes is a devastating loss at the start of a 5x5 map, of any map really. 4 land factories for Petric. 3.5 for Blackheart. 7 THAMs and a lot of Selines, 5 Selines. Slightly more tanks for Blackheart. But surely his economy is not going to be able to keep up after losing those 2 engineers, unless he can do some damage in return. He's going to get this guy, but not before the rock that was here is taken. Oh, this looks like a very nice fight for Petric, although the terrain saves one of the THAMs. He dipped down here below the line of the hill, and a lot of shots went into the mountain, into the ground. This is a wonderful THAM that's inevitably going to get a kill on an engineer. Although, actually, a nice radar may save that engineer's life. And actually both ACUs on the same side now, so both on the right side. Very, very good trades here from Blackheart, surrounding smaller number of tanks and wiping them from the map quickly. 6 factories now versus only a 5th one finishing, so there we can see a direct result of the early raid. As well as perhaps just build order differences, but Petric certainly has to be in a better position, even though he took some losses here. Blackheart quickly grabbing the remnants of the dead armies. Needs everything he can get at this point. Both ACUs facing off, and so it's important to send a lot of tanks to the ACU side. See, reinforcements from the base are heading this way. We also have Zuis mixed in already, quite a few, and it could be quite useful if Petric is not dodging enough. He could be in trouble. Both ACUs now at 7,000 HP. Some Zui shots land there, taking a few hundred health off with each hit. There you see them doing a lot of damage, but Petric dodging the vast majority of these Zooey shells. He needs to send some reinforcements though. He's pushing on the left side, but has allowed an engineer pass, which could be, well, it's definitely going to be helpful for Blackheart. Blackheart with more tanks with him, and Petric continues to retreat, but now all the reinforcements from the base headed to support the ACU. He is, ooh, took a lot of shots there, and now he's below 5,000. Blackheart below 6,000. But now the superior reinforcements arrive, and the ACUs are separated from each other, giving Petric time to regroup, giving him time to also get a nice raid here, getting all the way into the base. Doesn't want to waste the units though. He's going to try and retreat away, or at least trade evenly with the tanks that Blackheart is sending after him. He's actually getting good fight here, although he will leave reclaim in the base. However, he's cleaned up the entire left side. He has the middle mechs, hasn't invested anything other than an engineer and a Celine. There's no PD, no large PD investment. This tank has been forgotten about by both players. It's on Blackheart's radar and Petric's screen, but it hasn't done anything, unfortunately. Can raid the mechs at any moment. Petric with superior numbers with his commander. Blackheart's pushing forward, but really it doesn't feel like he can. I mean, at the point that Petric decides to take the fight, Blackheart is going to have fewer numbers, and his HP advantage on his ACU is not that great at 5k versus 5,700. Now Blackheart is going to, oh, he's getting very close to the ACU. This could be dangerous. He was out of position there. He needs to shoot the AC, shoot the units, and get his veterancy, because he's so close to the first vet level. But he has been shooting the ACU this whole time. He gets it. Gets some HP and the regen. But he's run out of units. There's so many more units now for Petric. Blackheart could be in some serious trouble. Although this is nice micro from Blackheart, getting a lot of free shots on the tanks. Petric's tanks have actually gotten wiped out there. He lost his army. We have a couple of engineers, multiple engineers in the area as well for Blackheart, looking to grab this reclaim if possible. Petric, same story. He's already grabbing the dead units with his commander and engineers. Both the ACU is so low, but Petric is not as low as Blackheart. Blackheart now getting focus fired by the FAMs. He's down below 900 HP, 600, 400, 200, and that's a draw. Petric is certainly in the superior position, so Blackheart will be happy with that draw there. Blackheart only ever had 5 land factories, and look at how many Petric had. He had 10. Well, we'll say 9. This one wasn't constructed. He had 9 factories versus 5. And actually, Petric had 6 factories before Blackheart had 5, so it was looking very good. And that draw only is really a great result for Blackheart. He gets another chance to win. Again, he only needs one to take the whole tournament. So, Williamson's Bridge, round 2. What will be different this time? Well, Blackheart has gone for a different faction. Now that's quite different. So we don't have a mirror matchup. We have Seraphim versus UEF. Petric stays with Seraphim. And Blackheart takes UEF. Not sure why he chose to switch factions, but he has. In some, well, there's some obvious differences, I would say. The health of the mass extractors, health of the ACU is higher on UEF. The artillery is cheaper, but also less powerful. Slower fire rate. Strikers, I think probably most would prefer them in a scenario like this to a THAM, I think, but they're very similar tanks. I expect we'll see very similar build orders to last time from both these guys. Tree groups here at the back of the base are being leveraged to allow Petric to build a second land factory with only 4 power generators and an assisting engineer. Blackheart, meanwhile, yep, a similar story. Although he's actually building 5 PGens. We have 3 more land factories queued up. Nobody opting for air just yet. Now, no THAM sent to this side. Saw in the last game an absolutely brutal raid from Petric, killing 2 engineers here, which were completely undefended by Blackheart. Now in this scenario we have, well, engineers are expanding a little differently, and they also have a striker to defend, but there is no THAM attacking. So slight adjustments there that were obviously very necessary after what happened in the last game. The striker that was defending is sent forward. Don't want to defend for too long. You want to actually do some damage with your early units, and he tries to, but he's going to get caught by 2 THAMs and executed. Interesting that the striker seems to be quite a bit smaller than a THAM. Anyway, oh, this THAM has gotten a kill. Looks like it only killed maybe a scout. And, well, that's... just saw the same thing happen twice there. But in reverse. So... this Celine for Petric, giving fantastic coverage. Also, the Raider in mid is as well, as Petric gets middle, but Petric is not going to keep it for long, unlike in the previous game. He's going to lose the mechs, he's going to lose the Radar, he's going to lose the Celine, probably. He's not going to lose the Engineer though, it seems. 3 tanks now sent to middle. And a large engagement early on between these tanks, and Petric needs to run away from this, I think. He is getting... this is decent trades for Petric. However, he's running away because a fight here is going to leave mass closer to Blackheart. But yeah, this is a nice formation. You can see where he stops. Blackheart ends up streaming in some units. And Petric's units basically focus fire without him having to directly click on all those tanks. And focus fire is good micro. Blackheart and Petric on the same side of the map again, so we're not having base trade. Any base trade scenario happen here. Both ACUs on the same side, and once again it looks better for Petric. Certainly has far more units on the right side. I think it's probably time for the further reinforcements to come onto the left side of the map here. Support the ACU because he's in a good position on the right side now, killing yet more strikers in excellent fights for him. Expanding there. That's a free Lobo kill. Well, the Lobo did 100 damage. Almost free though. This Celine is going to be spotted by the Omni sensor of the commander, and there he goes. Blackheart with a bad mass assault right now. And this will do it. Energy storage drains a lot of mass when you build it, because it has such a low build time and a high mass cost for its build time and for its power cost. Petric also stalling. And you can see both of them had factories under construction, and once they stalled, they stopped constructing them. Now we got a little bit of mass, so it restarts the construction. And this looks quite threatening. Now you want to be aware of where the hills are in Willie. Willie being Williamson's bridge. It's quite a hilly map. And this is where one of the hills is. So we could see a lot of shots go into the cliff, into the ground, if players aren't careful. Petric saying something. Not sure what the message means or what he was referring to. But there you go. Kills this raid. Mass is building here, but a lot more mass is building in this position, and this is becoming fast the most important position on the map already. Blackheart, given that it's right next to his base, can well be expected that he is going to get the majority of that reclaim. Actually, it looks like he's going to get all of it, as there are so many units on the left side. So now Blackheart actually retreating. He has no support on this side. Does he have... He doesn't have a radar. Oh, he does have a radar in the way back in the base, so he actually can't see what's in front of him. He can't see how many units are being sent to this side. It's quite limited in the position of this radar, and he has lost mid once again, although nobody has it at the moment. Petric is also retreating, which seems strange given he has so many units here. Oh, he spotted a pocket of strikers, which have killed many Thams. He killed one striker there and lost 3 Thams. Not good. Oh, that's a good fight as well for Blackheart by the looks of it. Coming into the side of Petric's formation. But if we look at total units, we have basically half and half Zoes and tanks. And the tank numbers are even, but on top of that, Petric has just as many Zoes, so far more units for Petric. And so he's clearly in an extremely good position, even with this mass being donated to Blackheart. Although it's not all donation, I suppose, because probably about half of those are Blackheart's own tanks, to be sure. There's an overcharge, but overall the ACUs have not been too impactful. Neither of them really fighting too hard, and so it's going to be extremely difficult for Blackheart to get a draw out of this game, because they have not been using their ACUs as nearly as much as in the last game. That's a very good adjustment from Petric to just not be trading health on his commander. And seeing as he hasn't been, now they're both basically on full HP, but Petric still has the massive unit advantage that he had in the previous game. And so this is going very well for Petric. He has 8 factories versus 8 factories, but far more units. And he has good map control. Very good map control. The tanks over here have been killed. And Patrick also has air. He's made 2 air scouts, which is probably unnecessary. Given that they can see so much of the map. You could see everything on the map in a matter of seconds, really. So 2 is probably unnecessary, but also not exactly a big problem. Bombers now coming out, and they're going to force anti-air. Even if the anti-air does come out, it's not going to defend these tanks from the bombers or these engineers, which are getting valuable reclaim for Blackheart. And those engineers are the target. Also killing reclaim. Not to be discarded. Zui's versus Commander. Commander's winning, but he's taking it. Oof. Ooh. Ouch. This is what happens when you don't dodge. So much damage done there. By the Zuis. And now the energy storage is an obvious target. 2 bombs from a Seraphim bomber will kill that structure. And it's about to go up in flames and take maybe a couple of PGens with it. Yes, it did. And also Reclaim got damaged by the bomber that bombed the wreck there. So now power is the next target. Radar goes down. Anti-air is out, killing a lot of the bombers, but this guy's going to get one more bomb. And he could take out multiple PGens here. Also the middle. These tanks getting so many kills. Holy crap, they all have 2 vets. Not sure what that bomber was targeting. Oh, the PGen survived on 10 HP. One more bomb perhaps sent from the side. Perhaps this bomber can take out a lot of those PGens. I think that's what's happening. And far more units on the right for Petric than for... Yeah, look at that, 35 tanks. Not such a big emphasis on artillery anymore. Just a lot of tanks. And there was 4 power generators for Blackheart. That is a very painful loss. And this looks doomed for Blackheart. Absolutely doomed. Petric just chilling with his ACU, patrolling as far away from all the action as possible to ensure there is no draw possible. And no snipe, of course. The bombers continue going after power. 4 PGens are hit by this, bombing this one power generator, even though they're split quite well. Blackheart says he's too goddamn bad here. Well, Petric seems pretty damn strong. More PGens go down. And Blackheart is doomed. He's lost everything. Virtually everything. Lost. Well, he has 3 mexes left. And not many more PGens than that. And he calls it a day. And we are going to have a deciding match. A deciding map. We're going to map number 7. The score stands at 3-3 in the best of 7. So what is the last map? The final map of the 2019 Legend of the Stars Championship is Forbidden Pass, 10x10 map. This is, well, I really don't know. I would never know who this map favors between the 2 of these guys. But it's a very well-liked map by many people. And would you look at that? So we had one UEF choice here in the whole series, which was in the previous game. Other than that, we've had only Seraphim and Aeon. Sorry, not Seraphim. We've had no Aeon, and one UEF, and the rest has been Cybran and Seraphim, basically complete even split between those two factions. And now in the deciding map, Blackheart has chosen Seraphim, and Petric has chosen Cybran. So that's a nice symmetry there. Factory, 1 PGen, mechs. So he only builds 1 power generator after the factory. Normally you would build at least 2, sometimes 3 on certain maps, but only 1 because it seems like he's going to be grabbing a lot of tree reclaim here. That's going to help him out. You can see Petric has done a normal thing with 2 PGens after the factory, followed by mexes. He is also grabbing tree reclaim, of course. But one engineer goes south, other goes to the left here. Whereas the first 2 from Blackheart go towards the trees and the this expansion here with the mechs and a hydrocarbon. That's where he's going to be building most of his initial land spam, it seems. ACU gets some assistance in the base to make this second air factory, and Petric meanwhile is going second land, third air. So we could have some, we already have some major differences in build order. First tank comes out for Blackheart. Petric has not made a tank yet. He's going to make his first tank out of his second factory. First factory, I guess, is only going to build engineers, which is, I guess, one of the advantages of going second land. You can build on a map like this where you're very far away and there's terrain. You can have your first factory dedicated only to engineers and a couple of initial land scouts to maybe spot labs, early attacks. And that's going to aid in Petric's expansion, having so many engineers out of the first factory. So air, the first unit out for Blackheart is an intie followed by a scout, followed by more inties. And we only have inties and scouts planned so far. Petric meanwhile probably the same, I would say. Look at this eco bar here. Both of them very close to low, very close to the bottom, but oh, bit of a stall coming here, but extremely limited. Look at how close to 0 he can maintain this. Less than 100 power and storage for so long there. It's really crazy. Alright, Blackheart moves out with his air, having started producing inties faster or sooner than Petric. He expects to have more, and he's completely correct. Scouts the inties of Petric and immediately attacks, looking to win air quickly and then go from there, perhaps make a fast transport. He loses his scout, and now there are 3 inties facing him, but he has focused on one. Petric running away perfectly into the corner, allowing his other 2 inties to get in behind Blackheart's. And so this is going to be very close to a draw, and perhaps even a win for Petric, as he is over his own production. And that looks like, well, let's see. Yeah, the inties that come out of the factory continually help Petric to draw this, but yeah, it's basically a draw. Bomber from Blackheart begins to move now, but he has lost his scout, so he can't use that to spot good targets like this engineer here. Mantis arriving in the expansion. This is actually quite big. This Mantis may not survive, but the second Mantis will get the raid finished. Tham just barely wins against the Mantis, but now the follow-up Mantis will finish him off quickly before it even gets to turn its turret and shoot. And the Mantis will get the engineer as well. Extremely good raid. For comparison's sake, even if this engineer is bombed right now, which it very likely will be, at least 3 of the mechs will be constructed. Maybe even the 4th will be constructed before the engineer dies. Blackheart needs some micro to make sure this engineer dies before... Oh, there we go. And look at that! All 4 mechs are constructed. Meanwhile, this engineer dies to the Mantis, and he actually almost lost the 1 mech he had finished. So superior, much superior attack here from Petric with the Mantis. I hear another raid happening. This Mantis already has a kill on an engineer, it seems. Yeah, here's the dead NG. Mechs will be saved. Blackheart trying to use Zui's across the water to be annoying. Thankfully he can retreat to the water and not be followed. We have an air fight. Blackheart microing very well there, but Petric has successfully dropped to this expansion, and the good micro I said was happening has it stopped happening after I looked away. I think, or Petric's micro equaled Blackheart's and he won it, having perhaps slightly more inties. And so Petric now has successfully dropped this expansion. Blackheart nowhere to be seen in this area, and he couldn't drop here even if he wanted, as he does not have the land units there to protect against the Mantis that are already pouring across from the main base and now pouring out of the expansion where the ACU has moved to. Also to note, it's the meta. You may have seen the ACU walk through the water here. He walks over this gap here in the mountain. This is the normal expansion path for the commander. So Blackheart has retaken this expansion. Did he drop here? I don't see a transport. Oh, I do. Here's the transport. So he dropped there, and now he's dropped into this location, capturing the mechs. Once you start capturing something, by the way, your units will stop attacking that thing that you're capturing, which is very nice. But dropping here is far less effective than dropping into this 4-mech expansion. And now Petric has also dropped onto the left side, and this looks extremely good for Petric now. He has so much map control, and he's winning air now, and he's killing the transport of Blackheart. As Blackheart pushes forward with the commander, looking to just do damage, perhaps draw a lot of the Mantis towards him, towards his ACU, which may relieve some pressure down below him. But it seems like Petric is not being drawn towards that. He's just trying to get a PD up. That may be sufficient with the units coming out of the factory to defend this location. Although there are Zuis, which could take out this PD. ACU also getting some shots in, but now retreats away. Doesn't want to take too much damage. He's already taken significant amounts in just those few seconds. PD goes down quickly, but what will the ACU do? He can't really afford to move too far away from the water, as he is in real danger of being surrounded. He has no units to support him. Drops from Petric. A lot of units on the left side, far more than what Blackheart has, and now Blackheart under attack from 2 Jesters and Mantis. He's forced into the water. And in the base, well, we don't have T2 air, so... Oh, well, would you look at that? T2 air started. And this could turn ugly, even uglier, I should say, for Blackheart. He's already down so much map control. Look at Petric's view of the map. He's raiding this expansion. He has this and the mirror on the other side, as well as everything that ought to be his, which would be in this area. So Blackheart in such a bad position right now. In terms of units, he has 30 tanks. Petric has 50 tanks. Petric also with complete air control. Well, actually, air is quite even, but Petric certainly has a bit more, and he also has aggressive air units, and these Jesters being closely guarded, and they're doing good damage. And I've already done, obviously, good damage, forcing the ACU into the water one time. ACU emerges. He's got to feel he's going to be forced into the water very soon again, and if he is forced into the water, torpedo bombers are now available to be constructed from that T2 air HQ. Mantis and Medusa reaching all the way to the land production of Blackheart, and Corsairs under construction in the T2 air HQ for Petric as another expansion falls to air and land combined forces. Here comes a Corsair aiming directly at Blackheart's ACU, and there's no dodge, as of course he has no radar with him or anything to help him. And it looks like Blackheart is giving up, and given that he has less than half the mass income of Petric and less units, less tech, less of everything, he's going to stand still and eat these last shots. There are even Mantis in the base of Blackheart now, forcing him to bomb his own pigeons. And the Corsairs are going to finish Blackheart very quickly. And Petric will be the winner once again in the end of your tournament. Another pass. One more pass. And this will be over. There he goes. Petric wins 4-3 against Blackheart. And the final map, Forbidden Pass. And this has been the 2019 Legend of the Stars Championship, the biggest tournament of FAF the whole year by a distance, with the most exhaustive format, most conclusive tournament, 1v1 tournament by far in the calendar, and Petri wins it, as he did the previous year and also the year before that. I do believe this is 3 in a row for Petric in these end of year tournaments, showing that he is for sure the best 1v1 player on FAF. maybe the best 1v1 player ever on FAF. Potentially. Also, it has to be said, extremely good run from Blackheart to get to the final. Most people would not have selected him as a finalist, I think, because, well, he was quite inactive in the past year, and, well, the past few years he's been quite inactive, so extremely impressive that he comes back and did some prep and made it all the way to the finals and took Petric to a deciding map, so very well played by Blackheart as well. And that's it. I'm going to just double check the prizes, see just how much Petric took home for winning this tournament, and also the other placements. So, well, in first place was Petric, in second place was Blackheart, third place was Nexus, and fourth place was Jagged Appliance. First place, Petric took home $700. Blackheart took home $400. 200 for Nexus and 100 for Jagged. That's me. And yeah, thanks for running the tournament, FTX. Thanks for the very generous donations in order from highest donor Andrew Bell, Legend of the Stars, an anonymous donation, Morax, Roy Blodier, and also some from the FAF Patreon. So thanks to everyone for a fantastic tournament and the great replays that it produced, and hopefully everyone enjoyed the coverage. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching and enjoying the games with me, and I'll see you all soon for more casts, streams, etc. Bye guys, have a good one.